1, 2, testing. One, two, testing. Mic check, mic check. Good evening. Just going through some Maschine projects that have just been sat there for a while, just having a listen, but also I'm waiting for plugins to install because I've been lucky enough to get myself a new Mac Mini, which is the M4 Pro, because my laptop was like 5 years old, starting to get a bit struggling with things. So I did that whole thing about kind of installing everything from scratch. And of course it takes about several nights to get sorted. Currently going through the Arturia V Collection 8 install. So there's a whole load of those. And also, I've been doing all the Native Instruments stuff. It really does take time, because I didn't create a backup of my old laptop. I literally just wanted to do something from scratch, start everything again, which I think is quite nice to do sometimes, but yeah, it takes time. So the Arturia one's downloading now, and this is something that I did that has beats. It does have beats, it's just they're not playing. So this is one of lots of different projects in the background. I'm just going to go to the top. And some of these are going to be, really primitive compared to the others. Some of these will never get used. You never know what you're doing. When you're putting these things together, you never know if they're going to be something that's useful or not. Okay, now that's got potential. Where's that sax? It's always good rediscovering stuff. I wonder how that's doing level-wise. I think, I've got some kind of ducking working, I think. Just want to make sure that everybody can hear the voice. Okay, I've got a DJI mic, which is wireless as well, so I don't have to worry about proximity to a mic capsule. It's not necessarily the best quality in the world. Yeah, I like this. This is good. Good evening, Dong Swing. How are you, man? You can be my level checker. I always appreciate your ears on these things. So I've got the DJI mic at the moment instead of using the mic, because if I'm moving around, it means that I don't have to worry about the proximity to the capsule. Just going through some of these ideas. And perhaps, as yesterday, maybe the overall level is a bit low. See if I can bring that up over here. And let me just have a look. Yeah, I'm using OBS. It doesn't seem to have a kind of master fader level. Maybe there is one. Can't see it. So yeah, let me know how that's doing levels wise. And just at the moment I'm installing loads of plugins because I've got a new Mac, which is the Mac Mini M4 Pro, which is a real step up from my laptop from before, which is starting to struggle, particularly with the video stuff. Not so much for music. It was an M1 Mac, the first generation, so it's about 5 years old. And the new Mac Mini is totally outperforming it, which is good news, because obviously it was an expense. So yeah, I'm feeling this one. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, so the beauty of working with something like Maschine is you can just knock up ideas quickly. I think I was saying this last night. And you can just kind of blitz a whole load of ideas without really even worrying about it, thinking about it, capturing those and then coming back to them another day. You know, it's like you don't have to feel that you have to get everything done. You know, whenever you're starting an idea, that you have to complete it. And, you know, when you've got short-term kind of memory like me, I just tend to forget what I do. So there's this wonderful moment of coming back to the productions that I totally forgot about and then realizing, oh my gosh, yeah, I made that. And it's like, there's really something about in the moment when you're making music that sometimes, obviously it can be really enjoyable, but then sometimes it can get a bit boring and you're like, no, I don't really want to have to do anymore. So if you do just kind of tuck it away, it's like a filing cabinet, just go and shut the drawer and leave it. And then come back, even if it's years later. I mean, some of these things have been sat here for years and I've totally forgotten about them. But in some respects, that's good because, you know, your brain and your life experience between when you created it and when you listen again, there's this difference, you know. And sometimes it's the difference that makes the difference because you've just had space from it. And you can reassess it. You can be more objective. You know, you see it from a different perspective. So I would encourage everybody just to blast ideas. Just go and tuck them away somewhere. And you know, it's easy for me to kind of like load and go through these ideas because it's all self-contained. It's all in the standalone unit. So it kind of manages itself. I don't have to worry about losing plugins or samples, whatever. Everything's there. But if you're running with something that's not hardware, something like a DAW, what you want to do is definitely bounce, you know, export the tracks out. Put them in a folder somewhere. Just get an ideas folder and just export them and stick them in there and leave them. And just take some distance away from them, come back, and then go through them. And then you'll be like, right, okay, that's great. But make sure your names make sense because you're going to have to find that project. If you find one of these real gems, you know, 2 years later, you go back and revisit and you hear this thing and it's great. You will need to find the project. So definitely name the audio exports the same as the project so it's very easy to find. So I don't know if I loaded this one up. Let's see. I like it. It's almost got some kind of acid thing going there. I wonder how I did that. So that's using the bass synth. Yeah, I like that. I think it needs a bass line, which, you know, it's not exactly a hard thing to put on top. I like that. It's good. It's good. What's next? So So it's just loading up the next one. Oh yeah, this was that collection. I did a video about these. I did like 4 Maschine projects in one night, and this is them. So I can probably skip through these, they're fairly recent. Like it. See what else we've got. So these have got a nice kind of underground vibe to them. And I think the next one is the one that I turned into the track that was a tribute to Bear Windup. Yeah, I think it was that. This is a very primitive version of that track. So what else do we have? See that? That's interesting. I like that beat. No, it's almost like a Kenny Dope kind of beat. Yep, nice. What else is there? Yeah, Don Swing. I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier. I think sometimes it's about what is the right time for the tracks. Sometimes you can make a track and it's the right time, you know, so you finish it, you get it done, and it's the right time. But then sometimes it's not the right time. And I think when people are kind of inexperienced and maybe they're unsure of, you know, their capabilities, whatever, sometimes it can be discouraging. So, you know, just getting something down, I think is just so important. And even if it's, you know, one beat, you know, 2 bars, whatever, musical elements on top, just get it down, get it saved, come back to it another time. You don't even need to keep some kind of log. Some people are very methodical about it, you know, keeping books and files and whatever. You don't have to do that. Just stick stuff in a folder. Make sure the naming of the files that you've rendered is similar to the project, so you can dig those out and find them. But yeah, you know, it's like, it's amazing. I think it maybe it's something to do with the fact when you get older, your memory gets worse. But it's always that amazing moment when you rediscover stuff and you're like, wow, did I really do that? And it's like, it's really good. It's really good. It's kind of like enjoyable. Okay, Instadan. Question, how do you find the sequencing on Maschine and do you finish tracks in a DAW later? That's exactly how I do it. I knock up the ideas and they could be 2 bars, 1 bar, 4 bars, whatever. I will then export all of the audio and bring it through into the DAW. Most of the time that's Ableton Live, but it could be any of the others. And that's when I'll do the arrangement and then finishing touches. You know, the arrangement aspects of this have got better over time, but I don't enjoy using it for that. So for me, it's more of a kind of ideas sketch pad, and I can get ideas down very, very, very quick. And then I can come back to them whenever I want, you know. And the process is, you know, you've got the USB key or you have the SD card, and you can export the files and transfer it to the computer. In an ideal world, there would be a kind of Wi-Fi transfer, you know, like an AirDrop kind of thing. And that would be great, but it doesn't exist. I don't even think the capability is there. Who knows, maybe it is. But it's not too inconvenient to say, right, let me just export these as audio and transfer them to the computer. That's fine. Okay, yeah, Don Swing, you're right. If you work too long on a project, the excitement leaves. Absolutely. And it's kind of like this, it's this energy and passion for a particular track it's interesting how that can, sometimes it can stay with you. It's like you get this kind of hype when you're making a track, and you get so into it, and before you know it, you've lost several hours, and it's like whatever it is, AM, and you realise you've got to get up for work and get, kind of normal stuff done. But sometimes, some other times, it can be that you just don't have that energy, that vibe's not there, but you've done something, and it could well be that actually that is the thing that several years down the line is something that becomes even bigger than the thing that you were incredibly motivated to do until the early hours of the morning. It's just such a incredible kind of magical process that we don't fully understand. And I think you've got to just kind of open up to the possibilities of what you can do if you put the energy there. So you've got to put out the energy and make something. And I think the more you do it, I think in a way it's like, musicians, when they learn instruments, they practice and practice and practice. And it's, I was talking about this last night, actually, the idea of the muscle memory and how muscle memory is really important with a product like Maschine. It's the same with keyboard shortcuts and stuff. If you're working with any piece of software, keyboard shortcuts, it's that muscle memory that I think is really interesting. So the more you do it, the more it comes almost like second nature. And in a way, for someone like myself, I'm kind of relentless with creating things. I'm just having a look. Has my connection dropped? I'm trying to see what's going on here. I appear to have frozen on the stream. I don't know if that's anything. Let me just type something here. Oh no, it looks like I'm back. Yeah. It could be it's a Wi-Fi issue. I am actually downloading loads of plugins at the moment because I mentioned earlier I've got a new Mac. It's a Mac Mini to replace my old laptop, which is about maybe 5 years old now. So it was getting a bit underpowered for some things, particularly the video side. Okay, so no, I think the freezing must have been my side then. I've lost my track. What was I talking about? Somebody remind me. But yeah, it's that thing about just getting the ideas down. Absolutely, get them down. It's really important. But yeah, I think I was talking about the fact that I can make ideas very quickly on here. But yeah, that's because I've been doing it for so long, and it's because I've, in a way, practiced and practiced and practiced just by actually making. So I would say to everybody, whenever you get the time, just make something and keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. I will never stop, and I'm happy that that's the case. I think this is where I was going with it. I'm completely relentless when it comes to being creative. I can't breathe without being creative. And I've learned that over, all of these decades of my life. I know, I've been in situations in my life when I was younger, and when, in a way, I wasn't able to create because I was trying to fit into a kind of normal life, I was not happy and I struggled. So I'm very lucky that I'm in a situation where I can be creative in the evening, and so I can just keep doing stuff. It's really important. I have a day job which is occasionally allowing me to have some degree of creativity, but most of the time it's not. So having the ability to do so in the evening is, in essence, it's my oxygen. It's a really important thing to be able to do that. Hey, Watsy, Deep, I guess that's from the radio show. Yeah, from the radio station that I used to have a show on. I really enjoyed doing it. I just didn't get enough time to be able to do it. on a regular frequency. You know, whenever I do things like I'm doing now, this is really spontaneous. It's just basically because there is an opportunity. It's very difficult for me to do a very specific day of the week and time of the week to be able to do anything. So that's why I stopped doing the radio show. It wasn't any other reason. I used to really enjoy doing it. But saying that, actually, one thing, the cost, because I was buying new music for every show, and I was spending a lot on new music, and I wanted to, because I wanted to invest in other producers. But it just ended up being, you know, with the cost of living and everything, it was something I just couldn't keep doing. I know a lot of the DJs play older stuff, but I was very keen to just play new stuff and support new music. But yeah, it just became financially difficult, and also time, definitely time. It's that whole slot, that regular time slot. So anyway, yeah, making stuff is really important. It's the same, I guess, with anything, isn't it? You know, if you're a DJ, you know, spinning, you know, practicing. I mean, I haven't DJed for a long time now. I just thought about that the other day. But you've got to keep doing stuff, and when you do it, it becomes second nature. I remember when I was doing gigs and, you know, traveling over Europe and so on, and sometimes I didn't have decks at home, so I felt really, really uncomfortable going to a gig without being able to practice and turning up and just, you know, keeping my fingers crossed that, you know, I'd be able to remember everything. But then those other times when I was able to practice at home and then go and do a gig, it's that whole thing about it becomes second nature. It's everything. It's the repetition. So, you know, making music is something, if you're creative, if you want to do it, you just got to keep doing it and just keep flexing it. It's just like working out. You know, when people are trying to be fit and healthy, you know, working out is a very important thing. You know, it's just like the regular exercise. It's the same with the creativity, you know, doing regular things. It's in any aspect, you just got to keep doing it. And just log everything, just get stuff recorded, get some exports. MP3s, doesn't matter about the quality, just have it and have it stored in a folder and then come back to it. So anyway, let's go to another one. There's a big list of projects here. Okay. So that's my alias, Brooklyn's People, and that was the track New York City. So that came out, that one, and I kept all that secret for a while. Nobody knew it was me. That particular one did really well, actually, and I was sent like loads of footage of clubs with people, you know, going mad to it and stuff. It's amazing, actually. The others haven't performed so well, but it's been quite fun exploring that kind of sound, which is a bit different. But, you know, I've had quite a few different aliases over the years, and I enjoy doing different styles. You know, I get bored if I do the same thing all the time. Like I said, you know, I'm just totally relentlessly creative. In the evenings, when people are asleep, that's my time, you know. I don't tend to need that much sleep. Never have done. And I don't know whether it's something to do with being neurodiverse. Maybe it is. I've always felt a need to, in a way, exhaust myself. I don't do lions. I don't do anything like that. You know, for me, it's like every hour of sleep, in some respect, is time wasted. It's absolutely necessary, of course, to sleep, and it's important to get a decent amount of sleep. But I find that I don't really want to sleep, and I will push myself. And it's interesting, you know, I've got two daughters, one who is diagnosed as ADHD, another who isn't, but we're going through that process. And there is a commonality in that none of us really want to go to bed at a reasonable hour. So I do think that there might be something in it. So yeah, the whole thing about being creative, relentlessly creative. There are many people. I mean, look, I could never compare myself to Prince, but Prince, he was so prolific, right? This guy just kept making music, and he was incredibly prolific. And some people just can't help being creative. I'm definitely one of those. I can't bucket myself in the same world as Prince. Here's another one. Let's have a look. Another project. And as you've seen, a lot of these haven't come out, so they're ripe for doing something with. But some of them have. So we just heard the Brooklyn's People one. I don't think that's particularly good. That would be one for the just don't do anything with pile. Okay, this is better. So it's a much more of a kind of deep house kind of vibe. And if you look carefully, you can see there's a lot of groups that are flashing. I tend to move quite quickly through groups. I'll load a group, which is a kit, and I'll make something using that kit. Then I'll quickly move to another kit, and then another kit, and then another one. So you can see that here, the evidence is here, a collection of different kits. So some people would say, okay, I'm going to get one kit, I'm going to meticulously plan all 16 pads, and then only move to another when I've finished those 16. That's not me. I just get stuff down quick, move on, and just keep going. So like that, it's nice. What else do we have? By the way, I've got a similar collection on the MPC, but I'm vibing on the Maschine at the moment. House of the Dove, hello, how are you? Can we hear more of that last one? There wasn't more. It was just a loop, and that's what you're going to find here is that they're just loops, and that means that what needs to happen is, when they're exported, is that they can then be arranged and made more interesting by the nature of the arrangement itself or the additional elements on top, So, these are all just little kind of random sketches, to be honest. This isn't going to change. It's just going around and around and around. But sometimes, that's all you need. You don't necessarily need anything complex. If the groove is there, it's about the individual kind of elements and taking them away, maybe bringing them back, processing them. All of these things can give extra mileage. And maybe my Wi-Fi is playing up a bit tonight. Like I said, I've got a new Mac, so I'm installing all the plugins all over again. And that's taking many evenings. But it's fine, because then I've got essentially a kind of clean slate. And some of the other projects and stuff will be moved over, but I like the idea of essentially almost starting from scratch on a more powerful machine, so that's good. That's one there. Let's do another one. Okay, really feeling this one. Yeah, that's great. What else do we have? And you'll notice that these are varying quality. Some of these are worse than others in quality. And by the way, I am actually recording this in the background, so if it's buffering and it's messy, I'll upload the video and go and put it on YouTube in full. I liked that. That was cool. Let's have a look at another one. Some of these will take longer to load compared to others. Oh, this is the one I did last night. So you need to watch the video back for that one. What else is there? Quite nice. Nothing particularly special. It's almost like library music, that. And that sort of thing has its time and place. Okay. Another one feels kind of library music, but it's cool. Okay. So I've gone back to 1988. It's cool though. It's cool. Okay, there's some sounds that are missing here. Quite nice. Little kind of bass line and Rhodes chords groove. Nothing amazing. What's next? Yeah, definitely the video looks to me like it's frozen. I don't know what's going on here. But yeah, I'm downloading the entire V collection at the moment. We don't have a great Wi-Fi here. The speed that I get is about 25 megabits per second download. It's not great. Upload, I think it's about 7 megabits per second. So really not great. Right, what's this? Oh, okay. I recognise that. I can't even remember what it is. That came out. That was released. That was something negative, wasn't it? Man, I just can't remember half of my tunes. I really can't. I mean, it's so funny. You know, I'll be somewhere and I hear something and I go, oh, wow, I like this, I like this. And yeah, even in the club or something. And I'm like, wait a second, that's something that I made. And this is one of the things about being like relentlessly creative, you know, just never stopping with the creativity. You'll make so much stuff and you'll forget about it. I don't know how someone, I mean, like Louis Vega, right, is like my hero. This guy is equally relentlessly creative. But I think he remembers what he does. He clearly, he seems to, you know, because he's playing so much of his own music, of course, because it's amazing music. And he's just an amazing producer and an amazing DJ. But he seems to remember everything that he does. You know, honestly, I forget. Okay, DJ Ganya Music. The one that I played when I said negative, yeah, that one is. I need to look it up. I'm going to search on Apple Music. Danny J. Lewis, I'll type in negative. It's, what is it called? Eradicate the Negative. Okay, so yeah, Eradicate the Negative by Danny J. Lewis. That track idea that you heard in Maschine did actually become a release. And it had a spoken word on it, and it had those kind of musical elements. Right, what else do we have? Okay. This came out as well, but I can't remember what I called it. Honestly, like I said, you know, it's just that there are so many tracks that I forget them. What did I call that one? I can't remember. But that one that I just played, this. This came out, but I can't remember what it was. Let's try another one. And this kind of thing where it's breaking away from that kind of more regular, faster tempo to something a bit slower is the kind of stuff that I knock out every now and again. And that's quite often where these Night Tales albums come from, is by experimenting on Maschine with stuff that's a bit abstract and different. And then finding a place for that in those albums, because the Night Tales albums are very diverse in terms of styles, and quite often they'll have almost kind of like interlude tracks where it's kind of a break away from everything else, a contrast. So that kind of thing would work very well in that context. Okay, this is missing samples. Is anything playing? No, for some reason. Let's see what else. Okay, another down tempo kind of vibe, bit bland, library music again. And thanks DJ and your music, appreciate that. Yeah, there's a lot of tracks. Oh my gosh. Oh, I remember what this is. Let me just try and unmute something. Oh, I need to do a different scene. Here we go. And that, I'm going to keep playing because it's one shot. Let's keep it going. So you recognise the voice, it's Bruno Mars. And this is Silk Sonic. And I did a drum and bass remix of that on here. It hasn't come out. In fact, it's not even in my remix stash. I've been sharing my remix stash every now and again. Got loads and loads of remixes that I've done, bootleg mixes. And I should finish this one. Actually, I did, I played that Universal Music party, so I DJ'd for that, and I did a couple of remixes for that, bespoke. One of them was, I can't even remember what it was, Blackstreet, No Diggity. I did a Latin drum and bass version of that, which at some point I'm going to have to let people hear. I also did a Latin drum and bass version of 50 Cent In the Club, which has to be heard to be believed, probably. But yeah, it worked. It went down well. Yeah, it's funny. So anyway, that was interesting. So that was Silk Sonic, a remix drum bass that I did. What else? Okay, that's got potential. I like that. That's definitely one to come back to. Potential for a release, absolutely. I should be taking notes really, shouldn't I? Writing down which are the good ones, but it's fine. I can go through this another time. It's cool. It's a very simplistic beat. I don't even know why I bothered saving that. I'm not really feeling that. What else do we have? Oh, it's a missing sample again. That's no good. What else? So I was talking about Night Tales earlier. This was from one of the Night Tales albums. I think I called it No Way. I think it was from Night Tales Volume 1. So I can remember that one. I liked that. That was good. Oh, there's another one. What's this? Maybe the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Like it. Yeah, so if you want that one, that's on Night Tales. The first one. Oh my gosh. This is another song that came out. Crazy. That is the B-side, but it's a different variation of the B-side. It's not quite the same. That's quite interesting. What else do we have? Oh. Yeah, it's not every day I do dub reggae. looks maybe as if the connection has dropped again. But I am recording this, like I said, and so I'll put it up if anybody wants to see it. I like them. But this is from a reggae expansion that came out that Native Instruments put together. And yeah, I do wonder, is this still going? Potentially this has dropped, but it may have been shut down because of the Bruno Mars. I reckon that's what it is. But anyway, look, it's been quite cool to be able to do this. I think probably I'll stop here and then I'll upload it to YouTube so people can check out some of this, and I'm going to see whether I can do a few more of these live things. I think I actually quite enjoy the interactivity and people asking questions. It's quite cool. We'll see, but being me, the enthusiasm could last or maybe not. We'll see. Right, thanks to everyone who tuned in at any point. I'm going to stop the stream now. Cool. Have a good one.